Hello Zenith women and welcome to the channel. She's not the kind of woman you chase, she's the one who makes you question why you're running at all. In a world obsessed with loud, in-your-face personalities, there's a rare breed of women who command attention without ever asking for it. Enter the Sigma female, a woman so uniquely captivating that she doesn't just turn heads, she turns the tables. Studies show that men are more drawn to women who exhibit emotional independence and mysterious confidence, yet these traits are what society often discourages in women. The Sigma female embodies them effortlessly, making her the kind of person who doesn't just walk into your life, she rearranges it entirely. And the craziest part, she doesn't even try. She's the human equivalent of the read receipts off text message, calm, controlled, and always leaving you wondering. But what is it about her that drives men to obsession? Is it her unshakable self-respect? Her ability to walk away from drama like it's an overpriced cocktail? Or maybe it's the fact that she's mastered the art of making silence louder than words. Strap in, because we're about to break down the extraordinary, sometimes infuriating and undeniably magnetic traits that make men wildly attached to Sigma females. Spoiler. If you think you've figured her out, she's already 3 steps ahead. Number 1. Her mysterious energy keeps him guessing. A Sigma female has a mysterious energy that can't be easily defined, and that's exactly what makes her irresistible. She isn't trying to be mysterious, she just is. She moves through life with quiet confidence, rarely feeling the need to explain herself or seek validation. This natural ambiguity creates an air of intrigue that draws men in without them even realizing it. They find themselves fascinated by her silence, captivated by the way she seems to know something they don't, and endlessly curious about what's going on behind those composed eyes. What makes her so magnetic is that she doesn't lay all her cards on the table. Most people reveal themselves quickly, eager to be understood, but a Sigma female is different. She gives just enough for someone to feel connected, but never so much that they feel they've unraveled her completely. This balance creates a tension, a craving even, that men find impossible to shake. They'll think about the way she paused before answering a question, or how her smile hinted at a thought she didn't share. Every interaction with her feels like a puzzle with just one piece missing. Her mystery isn't a tactic, it's simply how she is. She values her inner world too much to let just anyone in, and that restraint is exactly what keeps men hooked. They feel privileged to see glimpses of her true self, which makes those moments more meaningful. She doesn't overwhelm or try to control the room, but her presence alone feels like an invitation to dive deeper. The more a man tries to figure her out, the more he realizes there's always more to discover, and that endless curiosity keeps him coming back for more. Number 2. Independence that challenges masculine identity. A Sigma female's independence isn't just a trait, it's a statement. She doesn't need anyone to complete her or validate her existence, and this self-reliance disrupts the traditional dynamic men are often used to. For many men, their sense of identity is tied to being providers or protectors, but when faced with a Sigma female, they find themselves in uncharted territory. She doesn't need rescuing, saving, or even constant attention. And that's not just intriguing, it's a direct challenge to their perception of what it means to be a man in a relationship. Her independence doesn't come from defiance or rebellion. It's rooted in her confidence and sense of self. She builds her own world, pays her own bills, and makes her own decisions. Not because she's trying to prove a point, but because she knows her worth and doesn't see dependence as an option. This creates a paradox for men. They feel both captivated and slightly out of control, unsure of how to navigate a connection with someone who doesn't need them, but chooses to keep them around. Instead of feeling emasculated, however, many men find this dynamic exhilarating. It forces them to redefine their role, moving beyond the traditional hero archetype to something more meaningful, an equal partner. A Sigma female's independence pushes them to step up emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually in ways they might not have expected. The pull lies in her ability to exist fully in her own world while making space for someone else, not because she has to, but because she wants to. That level of choice makes any connection with her feel earned, and men can't help but admire the strength it takes to thrive alone while still remaining open to love. It's not repelling, it's magnetic. Number 3. Unpredictability paired with stability. A Sigma female operates in a fascinating paradox. She's emotionally grounded and reliable, yet her actions are never entirely predictable. It's this combination of stability and surprise that creates a magnetic pull. She doesn't swing between extremes or create unnecessary drama, but at the same time she never becomes monotonous or overly familiar. Men find themselves drawn to her because just when they think they've figured her out, she does something that completely shifts their perspective. Her unpredictability isn't erratic or chaotic, it's thoughtful and deliberate. She knows how to keep people intrigued without resorting to manipulation or games. One moment she might be the calm, collected voice of reason, offering advice that's wise beyond her years. The next, she might casually mention an ambitious plan, take a spontaneous trip, or reveal an unexpected side of her personality. It's not about keeping secrets, it's about having layers, each more intriguing than the last. At the same time, her emotional stability grounds the people around her. She's the person you can count on in a crisis, the one who doesn't crumble under pressure or let her emotions dictate her every decision. For men, this duality is captivating because it feels rare. She offers the best of both worlds, the reassurance of knowing she's dependable and the excitement of never quite knowing what's next. This balance keeps relationships with her dynamic and alive. Men aren't just attracted to her, they're invested. She makes them want to stay curious, to keep peeling back the layers, and to rise to the challenge of keeping up with someone who's both steady and endlessly surprising. It's a rare and irresistible energy that few can replicate, and it leaves an impression that's hard to forget. Number 4. The quiet strength she wields without dominance. A Sigma female doesn't need to raise her voice or impose her will to make an impact. Her strength is quiet, almost invisible, yet undeniably powerful. She's the type of woman who walks into a room and shifts the energy without saying a word, not because she's commanding attention, but because her presence is grounded and self-assured. Men find themselves drawn to this understated influence because it feels effortless, yet profound. She doesn't need to dominate anyone to lead. Her actions, decisions, and demeanor do all the talking for her. What sets her apart is that she never competes for control. She doesn't rely on flashy gestures, grand displays of authority, or cutting others down to assert herself. Instead, her strength is rooted in her clarity of thought and conviction. She listens more than she speaks, observes more than she reacts, and when she does act, it's with precision and purpose. This subtle approach makes her incredibly effective, often achieving more behind the scenes than others do by trying to take center stage. Men admire this trait because it challenges the conventional idea of leadership. Her quiet strength feels calming rather than threatening, inspiring rather than intimidating. It gives men the space to step into their own strength, rather than feeling overpowered or sidelined. She creates an environment where mutual respect thrives, and that's a rare quality in any relationship dynamic. Her ability to influence without controlling keeps men intrigued because it's so different from the overt power struggles they may have experienced before. They feel guided, not pushed, supported, not overshadowed. Her quiet strength doesn't just captivate, it earns respect, creating a dynamic where admiration runs deep and attachment becomes almost inevitable. Number 5. Her selective social circle commands respect. A Sigma female doesn't need a crowd to validate her. She chooses her social circle carefully, valuing quality over quantity when it comes to relationships. While others might chase popularity or constantly seek approval, she's perfectly content with her small, tight-knit group of genuine connections. This deliberate approach not only reflects her confidence but also commands respect from those around her. Men in particular find this refreshing and deeply intriguing because it signals that she values depth over superficiality. She's not the woman making noise to be noticed at every gathering. Instead, she's the one whose mere presence changes the atmosphere. When she walks into a room, people notice, not because she demands attention, but because her energy speaks louder than words. Men are drawn to this because it's rare to meet someone who can hold their own without constantly trying to impress. She doesn't crave the spotlight, but somehow it finds her anyway. What's even more captivating is her discernment. She doesn't let just anyone into her world, and that exclusivity makes her even more magnetic. Men can sense that being part of her inner circle is a privilege, not a right. It's not about arrogance. It's about knowing her worth and valuing her time and energy. Her ability to remain selective while still being approachable is a delicate balance that keeps men intrigued and eager to earn her trust. The absence of a need to prove herself makes her interactions feel effortless and genuine. She doesn't play social games or feel the need to outshine others, and this quiet confidence inspires admiration. Men find themselves wanting to rise to her level, not because she asks them to, but because she makes them realize that authenticity and substance are far more captivating than empty charm. Number 6. She is a master at intellectual seduction. A Sigma female knows that true attraction starts in the mind. She doesn't rely on superficial charm or fleeting gestures to captivate. Instead, she pulls people in through the sheer power of her intellect and curiosity. She's the woman who can turn an ordinary conversation into something profound, effortlessly steering discussions into topics that spark excitement, challenge perspectives, and leave people thinking long after the conversation has ended. For men, this kind of connection is intoxicating. Her seduction isn't loud or obvious, it's subtle and layered. She doesn't bombard with opinions or try to outshine anyone. She simply asks the right questions, makes thought-provoking observations, and offers insights that stick. She's the kind of woman who can casually bring up philosophy, science, or art in a way that feels natural and engaging. Her passion for learning and exploring ideas is contagious, and it pushes men to think beyond the surface. What makes her so irresistible is her ability to blend intelligence with curiosity. She doesn't talk just to show how much she knows. She genuinely wants to explore new ideas and hear other perspectives. This openness makes her magnetic as it creates a dynamic where conversations feel like an adventure rather than a routine exchange of words. Men find themselves eager to impress her, not with flashy displays or grand gestures, but by matching her wit and engaging with her ideas. The real magic lies in how she makes men feel during these exchanges. She challenges without belittling, encourages without forcing, and debates without ego. Her ability to spark mental chemistry is rare, and it creates a deeper connection that goes beyond surface-level attraction. With her, every conversation feels like a journey, and once a man gets a taste of that intellectual stimulation, he's hooked. Number 7. Her presence feels like a rare privilege. A Sigma female's presence carries a weight that few others can replicate. She doesn't flood her calendar with meaningless social obligations or offer herself up freely to anyone who asks for her time. Instead, she is deliberate about where she invests her energy, which makes every interaction with her feel like a privilege rather than a given. Men are particularly drawn to this because it creates an aura of exclusivity. Her company isn't something to be taken lightly. She's not withholding out of arrogance, but because she values quality over quantity. This means she doesn't waste time on shallow connections or fleeting encounters. When she chooses to spend time with someone, it's meaningful, intentional, and impactful. Men can feel the difference. Her attention isn't scattered, and her presence is fully engaged. Those rare moments with her feel more vibrant, more significant, because they are given with purpose. What makes her so compelling is that she's not trying to play hard to get. She is hard to get, simply because she protects her peace and values her independence. She doesn't overshare her thoughts or emotions with just anyone, so when she does open up, it feels special, like being invited into a secret part of her world that few ever see. This makes men crave her attention even more, knowing it's not easily earned or casually given. Men quickly realize that her time is a gift, not an entitlement, and it makes them appreciate her in ways they might not with someone more accessible. It's not about being unavailable. It's about knowing her worth and only investing in what truly matters. Her ability to maintain this balance between connection and exclusivity keeps men captivated and constantly seeking those moments when she lets them in just a little deeper. Number 8. She awakens a sense of adventure without forcing it. A Sigma female doesn't need to climb mountains or book extravagant trips to awaken a sense of adventure. She carries that spark within her, and it's infectious. Her adventurous spirit isn't about grand, showy gestures. It's in the way she approaches everyday life. She finds magic in the seemingly ordinary, whether it's in the way she notices the subtle beauty of a sunset, her curiosity about a small-town cafe with a quirky vibe, or her excitement over discovering a book no one's talking about but should be. Her ability to uncover hidden gems in the mundane inspires men to see the world differently. She doesn't pressure anyone to match her energy or force them into experiences they're not ready for. Instead, her perspective naturally draws people in. Men find themselves wanting to follow her lead, not because she's demanding it, but because she makes life feel fresh and full of possibilities. Spending time with her feels like stepping out of a routine and into a world that's richer, deeper, and more alive. What's captivating is how effortless it all feels. She's not trying to be adventurous to impress anyone. It's simply who she is. Her curiosity and willingness to embrace life's little surprises create an environment where men feel safe to let go of their inhibitions and explore alongside her. It's not about thrill-seeking or adrenaline. It's about rediscovering the joy of spontaneity and finding wonder in places most overlook. With her, even a simple walk in the park can turn into a memorable moment, and that ability to turn the ordinary into extraordinary keeps men hooked. They don't just want to be around her. They want to see the world the way she does, to catch a glimpse of life through her unique, adventurous lens. And once they do, there's no turning back. Number 9. She's the perfect combination of challenge and comfort. A Sigma female effortlessly strikes a balance between challenge and comfort, a rare and magnetic combination that draws men in. She's not the kind of woman who makes everything easy, but that's precisely what makes her so captivating. She inspires growth by quietly pushing men to reach their potential, but never through overt demands or manipulation. Instead, it's the subtle way she holds up a mirror, making them want to rise to the occasion without even realizing they're doing it. Men are motivated to be better around her, not because they feel forced, but because she sets a bar of emotional and intellectual depth that feels both inspiring and natural. At the same time, there's an undeniable comfort in her presence. She doesn't play games or create unnecessary drama. She's emotionally mature and secure in herself, which allows men to feel relaxed and unburdened in her company. There's no need to constantly prove anything or fight for her attention. She's not out to control or reshape anyone. Instead, she creates a space where men feel accepted as they are, yet encouraged to grow at the same time. This combination of being both a gentle challenge and a safe haven is what makes her such an extraordinary presence. Men find themselves looking up to her, not because she demands it, but because she embodies a rare strength that invites admiration and respect. At the same time, they know they can let their guard down with her. She won't manipulate or demand compromises that sacrifice their true selves. In her presence, they feel empowered to be both their best and most authentic selves, and that duality keeps them deeply attached to her. Number 10. She's a silent competitor. A Sigma female doesn't engage in the typical power struggles or overt competition that many women or men feel inclined to participate in. She's the kind of person who lets her actions speak for themselves, achieving quietly and steadily without the need for public acknowledgement or accolades. This understated approach to success is what makes her a silent competitor. She doesn't push anyone to compete with her, yet men find themselves unknowingly measuring up to her achievements, striving to match her pace, and sometimes even surpass her in areas that matter to them. What makes her so powerful is that her success isn't about defeating anyone else. It's about her continuous pursuit of growth, mastery, and personal fulfillment. She doesn't flaunt her accomplishments or make others feel small. Instead, she goes about her goals with focus and discipline, drawing others in through sheer example. Men may not even realize it, but they begin to challenge themselves, not out of a desire to outdo her, but because they respect her work ethic and are motivated by the way she moves through life. The beauty of her silent competition is that it's never forced or intentionally competitive. It's a byproduct of her nature. Her excellence invites others to rise to their own potential without her ever saying a word. She doesn't need to boast about her achievements because they're evident in the way she lives her life. Men find themselves inspired by her, not feeling diminished, but encouraged to step up in their own pursuits. This kind of quiet influence is what makes her so magnetic. She's not competing with anyone. She's simply focused on her own journey, and through that, she inspires others to embark on their own. In the end, a Sigma female isn't just someone you're drawn to. She's someone who fundamentally shifts the way you see the world. Her strength lies in her ability to remain unapologetically herself, embracing both her independence and complexity without trying to fit into any predefined mold. It's her mystery, her quiet power, and her profound influence that make her irresistible. Men don't fall for her out of convenience or simplicity. They're drawn in by the depth she carries, the way she challenges them to grow while offering a sense of comfort and security that's rare to find. What makes her so captivating isn't one singular trait. It's the sum of everything she embodies. She's the kind of woman who awakens a sense of wonder in the mundane, a silent competitor whose success pushes others to elevate their own. She doesn't demand admiration. She earns it through her quiet leadership, intellectual stimulation, and selective yet genuine connections. She inspires growth without ever forcing it, and through it all she remains calm, composed, and fiercely independent. Men don't just admire a Sigma female, they strive to meet her pace, to rise to her level, and to earn their place in her world. And in doing so, they find a version of themselves they didn't even know existed, one that's stronger, wiser, and more connected to life's deeper layers. The Sigma female is not just an attraction, she's a force, one that subtly reshapes everything around her. To be with her is to be constantly reminded that the most extraordinary things in life don't demand attention. They command respect through the quiet power of their authenticity. And for men who find themselves in her orbit, there's no turning back. If you've been captivated by the magnetic allure of the Sigma female and want more insights into the complexities of human connection, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join this community of deep thinkers and curious souls where we dive into what makes relationships truly extraordinary. You won't want to miss out on future discussions that uncover the hidden forces shaping our interactions. So, go ahead, subscribe, and let's explore this fascinating journey together. Your next moment of discovery is just one click away.